This is going to be a very unconventional video. I'm going to be trying to fix the left click of my mouse while I talk to you guys about Last Epoch and my thoughts and how you should play it. Last Epoch is coming out tomorrow, and I was laying in bed this morning and I was just thinking, how do I want to play it? I've actually been thinking a lot in the past week how I want to play Last Epoch. And, whenever a new game comes out, the first instinct for a lot of us, we immediately want to go like sweaty turbo nerd and immediately just, all right, I'm going to look up all the guides. I'm going to look up all of the resources, and I want to be the best at the game that I can right off the bat. And I really, really think this is incredibly not short-sighted, but you're kind of shortcutting one of the most enjoyable things about playing a new game. And as someone who's been around the block for quite a few years at this point, I can tell you that the opportunities in your life for playing games that you're excited about a new game just coming out, and you want to like the fun. I don't know. Actually, I just want to tell you guys an anecdote that I was thinking of. One of my best memories. Actually, hold on. This is a little bit of a delicate, a delicate part of the process. I actually need to use my fingernail to get this a little unclicked. All right, perfect. Yeah, when I was younger, here, look, so you guys can see, you have to unscrew these, and then you want to use your fingernail to kind of unclick it a little bit, and then be very careful about this ribbon cable. Anyway, when I was much younger, possibly about the age of some of you guys, well, probably younger than that, but yeah, when I was much younger, I remember sitting in my mom's car every weekend. We would actually go to Blockbuster, which was like a 5-minute drive from my house, and we would rent different games for NES and Super Nintendo. And my favorite game that I remember ever renting was Mega Man 3. And I think a lot of that is actually due to the instruction manuals and just getting excited from all of the content that I could see, or just like imagining, just thinking about what I was going to experience as I played the game. And that imagination and thinking about what I was going to experience when I played the game, I think that's actually, thinking a lot about my life and playing so many different games. What I've enjoyed the most about playing many of these games is kind of the subverting of the expectations of what I expected to experience when I played the game, and then what I actually ended up experiencing when I played the game. And just like thinking, I very vividly remember seeing the page in the instruction manual for, if I can find it online, I'll put it on the screen right now, for Snake Man. For some reason, Snake Man was my favorite. I think it's because he was actually the first guy that you fought in Mega Man 3. If you wanted to do it in like the ideal intended order, is Snake Man was the first guy that you fought, because then he was actually like the weakest to the default Buster Cannon, and then you could get the snake shot, and then you could use that to traverse the rest of Mega Man 3. Anyway, there was something about Mega Man 3 and that instruction manual and all the art and everything, and knowing nothing about going into the games. And like, we just don't really experience this anymore, right? We get a lot of teasers from the content creators, from the developers themselves, working. Like, I'm going to be playing sponsored. I'm going to be playing Last Epoch. I'm going to be sponsored for the next week, and I hope you guys are on stream for that. It'll be a good time. But what I'm going to do, I was thinking about how I wanted to play, and there's a lot of pressure for me personally. This is the left click right here, so we have to take this out. This is actually a little bit dicey as well, because the way that the clicks fit into this mouse, the actual mouse buttons, is very, very sensitive. Anyway, and you can see it. This is actually what I did this morning, is I modded the thumb buttons so they're clickier. Anyway, the experience of playing a game, like, our instinct as, we're all sweaty turbo nerds, is to play these games as immediately. We want to play as optimally as possible. We have decades now, for some of us, many decades of experience of like, okay, I know where I can look up the wiki and the resources, and we're going to open up third-party tools that min-max something. And so much I think is actually lost. When I think of a lot of the games that I've played, like the best part of many of these games that I've played is usually the first week and that discovery process and that experience of actually like seeing new things that I didn't know were in the game. And I think so much of that just gets lost by looking up every little potential thing, including builds. And actually, this is, now we're talking directly about Last Epoch here, finally. um, Last Epoch is arguably the most accessible of all ARPGs that I've ever, in terms of the complexity, right? Like Diablo 4 even is awkwardly opaque in a lot of ways, considering how simple how simple that game is. It is awkwardly opaque in a lot of ways, and I think you'll get a lot of value. I am very confident in saying this. I know you will get a lot of value and happiness out of just, the first time, like before you even know all the skills that are in a class and experiencing the, like, oh my God, I didn't know. This is when I saw this on stream yesterday, we're looking at the Falconer class, which I'm really excited about, and seeing that you can actually have the Falcon trigger the acid flask, and then I can convert with the new unique item. And sorry, a little bit of spoilers here. With one of the new unique items or legendaries in Last Epoch, you can convert the flask to cold damage over time. And so you can take this acid damage and convert it to cold damage, and then I can make my bird actually throw these cold damage over time flasks. And that seems so conceptually cool. And we were just looking at different Maxwell guides and stuff like that. And we didn't see any, I didn't see anyone really advocating for that as a build guide, right? People can't really test it yet because it's an untested thing. And I think that's kind of a bit of the magic. So just to let you guys know what I'm doing here is my left click is a little flaky. And actually what I had to do when I first got this mouse, this is a Pulsar X2A. Really, really nice, incredibly lightweight mouse, incredibly high performance. But the problem is there's some QC issues on the internals here where they have these little spots where they put, they originally had these rubber pads and they were kind of misaligned. And so I removed the rubber pads, but now my left click is a little pingy. And so I'm putting some painter's tape on it to try to mod it and remove the ping a little bit and kind of put this back where the rubber was. Anyway, the thing about Last Epoch, and I think that's kind of beautiful about Last Epoch, is the fact that it's so accessible. It is, for the complexity, like there's a lot of build variety. There's a lot of potential for what you can do, especially with damage conversion and all that. And what you have available to you in terms of the in-game resource for, being able to learn what's, how different things work. Like the in-game wiki or game guide is really, really good. And that in combination with just, opening up your skill tree, just typing it, just searching, you can use the Last Epoch tools. I like the planner. I'll link it in the description below. Really, really cool little planner. You could just type in like, hey, fire damage. I want to do fire damage and just go down that path. And the other cool thing about Last Epoch is until you get to very high corruption, the game is actually easy. I think that's actually a good thing. The game is actually really, really easy, particularly for people that are new to the genre. And I think I would actually strongly advocate for people that are new to the genre. Let's see. Is this not moving? Nope. It looks like the tape is, this tape is too much. It looks like it's kind of locking in place. So we're going to have to rethink that a little bit here. Anyway, let's remove this entirely. The accessibility of the game and the amount that it teaches you and lets you just kind of play around. You can get through the campaign in, not too many hours, even not knowing what you're doing and picking any skill. I've leveled up only a couple characters in through the campaign, but I never looked up a guide or anything. I just kind of booted up the game. Let's see if just this one piece of tape is enough. This might be all we need here. Unfortunately, every time you take the button out and put it back in, it's very, very sensitive. This is actually kind of like it's not scary, but if it's even slightly misaligned, the button like doesn't really work very well. Okay. All right. This feels kind of good. So yeah, I would really like to get the tape in there. Unfortunately, it's not clicking as well as I would like. You can see the right mouse button is kind of staying up, but the left one, it doesn't stay up like the other one. Anyway, The nice thing is sometimes it does just work. Let me try to like realign this a little bit here. Um, anyway, you can play Last Epoch very, very easily through the campaign. You can even do early monoliths. You can do the first one, maybe two difficulties of the dungeon with, I think, borderline any build in the game. I actually don't think you need more than more than a basic understanding of like I need a little bit of defense and I need a little bit of offense, and that's about it. I think. All right, that looks a lot better. It doesn't pop up like the right mouse button, and I don't think it ever did that actually after I originally modded it. Let's kind of put this back together and see if the button works at all. It'll push it back up. It'll push it back up here when I reinstall it. Ooh, I'm not sure. Let's put it back together anyway. No, it's not. It's not in properly. Let's do a little bit of this. Actually, I think that's okay. I think we're okay now. All right, cool. Yeah, it's the buttons are very, very sensitive, and there's these little clips here. I don't know how much you're actually seeing. I'm not looking at the camera. But there's these little clips right here and here. You can see they're kind of pushed down. And if they're not pushed down properly, if it doesn't like lock in, it can be a little off. Anyway, also I'm recording myself with my voided warranty. Sorry, Pulsar. But I love this mouse, but it is really, really unreliable in a few ways. Like the actual performance and the weight of it's incredible, but man, the QC on some of this stuff has been rough. Anyway, that's really all I wanted to talk about is, I have a couple memories of certain games that I've played in the past where I can't even think of a specific at the moment, where I went too hard on looking up guides. And I think, crazy enough, I actually think Diablo 4 is kind of an example here, where I went a little too ham looking up guides, and I ended up not having as much fun. Although Diablo 4, there wasn't as much variety and thought that you could put into making up builds. And I did experiment a good amount. Diablo 4 is probably not a good example because there's not much to do in there. But you know what? Like a Dark Souls game, something like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, something like that, I think is a great example where I've seen friends, like I played it through most of the game. I played Elden Ring. I played most of Elden Ring without looking up anything. And I actually regret ever looking up anything. My friend was telling me about the Hoarfrost Stomp, which before that got nerfed, it was super, super OP. And I didn't have it, and I was perfectly happy. I did find the Bloodhound sword, and I had a lot of fun with that. I was doing the blood dance and all that, and it was awesome. And I was perfectly fine. I definitely would have beaten the game without using the Hoarfrost Stomp. But then my friend told me about it, and then he told me where it was. I didn't want to look anything up, but he told me where it was. And then once I got it, I couldn't stop. This is probably a me problem, but I couldn't stop myself from using it. When I have access to the strongest stuff in the game, I'm going to use it. And I couldn't control. I couldn't stop myself from getting it and using it. And if I had come across it organically, that's kind of the beauty of Souls games, is you feel like you're kind of cheating the game a little bit. Oh man, I found this really OP thing. That's awesome. But when someone tells you where something is, and the social aspect is kind of fun, but like if you just look up, hey, here's the best build, you can just cheat the whole game like that. I really do think that you're detracting from a lot of the potential fun that you can have. And I would encourage you to, not, this is the most annoying part, is getting this ribbon cable back in. I've done it like 5 different ways. This should be okay. Hold on. Nice, it's back in. And let me just test that my mouse is working. Let me Alt-Tab over to a window. Page up, page down. Let's go to a browser window. Oh, it's not working. Oh, it's not on. All right, it's on. All right, perfect. Before you put it together, you want to make sure that you put that ribbon cable back in properly. All right. And now we got to slide it back in. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, like Elden Ring, by my friend telling me even just this one thing, luckily it got nerfed like the next day. So I only lost, one night of, I kind of cheapened the experience only for one night. I don't think I beat any noticeable or notable bosses with it, but yeah, that one night of the game just, feeling OP, and it was something that I didn't organically discover myself. It cheapened the experience a little bit. And I think with something like Last Epoch, there's only going to be so many times in your life, just take it from the old guy. There's only going to be so many times in your life where you play or you have a game that's coming out or anything, a book, a movie, or a new experience with some friends. And I think looking up too much, spoilers. I'm one of those guys that actually thinks I don't want anything to be spoiled. I know there's the whole, hey, scientific studies have determined that spoilers actually make it more enjoyable for you, and there's nothing wrong with spoilers. I disagree. I really, for me at least, I have a lot more fun. I enjoy something more when it's a pleasant surprise and it's fresh and it's new, and I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm really struggling. This part's extra annoying as well, sliding it all back in. And that's really all I wanted to get across to you guys. I think, using third-party tools is fine. Looking certain stuff up is fine. Trying to figure out exactly... Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Hopefully I didn't scratch my mouse pad there. I didn't scroll it. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Oh, it worked. It worked. Nice. Yeah, this was just my idea here, is I wanted to put some tape in, try to get it. Ooh, that feels really good. Nice. Let's screw it back in. But yeah, you can, I don't know, for me, for you, it could be different. I think that's fine. Do whatever is best for you in your life, but I want you to at least consider the option of not spoiling everything in the game. Especially in this game, I think it's really, really easy. Oh, I might have to reseat this. These screw holes are very, very sensitive to being properly aligned. But yeah, oh, I didn't. I forgot a couple screws. Okay, all right. Actually, I think that's good enough. The mouse does work. I have to take this apart and put these screws back in. But the buttons feel really, really good. Hey, if you have any problems with like a keyboard or a mouse and any of your buttons don't feel just right, this is a cheap little, like, known in the enthusiast keyboard space, cheap little thing you can do is just put painter's tape on, between the buttons or anything. Obviously the sticky side you don't want on a moving part, but this can make stuff like less pingy, can sound better. You get that real nice thocky sound here. I'll even give you guys a sample. Yeah, when you get these nice keyboards with that thocky sound, if you want your clicks to be, a little bit thicker, feel better, you get that Righteous Fire Juggernaut click. Feels really good. Anyway, I'm going to fix this up again. And yeah, thanks for listening to my TED Talk. And, different little video here. I got some work done while I was talking as well. I hope you join me on the stream tomorrow for Last Epoch. It's going to be really fun. The game is really good, and I just don't want people to cheapen their experience and miss out on a lot of fun, that joy of that first 3, 5, 7, 14 days of playing a fresh game, just hanging out in Discord with your friends and having fun, sharing new, fresh experiences instead of spoiling everything. Like, hey, watch the full campaign walkthrough on YouTube or anything. And yeah, just have a great time. And I hope you like this game. I really like it. There's a lot of potential here, and I'm excited to play it tomorrow. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys on stream very soon with my new and improved mouse. Goodbye.